Welcome back to AFTV. Arsenal have won at Ellen Road somehow. Turkish, let me ask you, look, we're relieved we won.
Yeah.
But if I were to say to you that for me there's a difference between an ugly win and a lucky win, would you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. An ugly win might necessarily be you deserve it, but you had to really grind it out. This one, similar to Bodo, I feel like the opposition probably deserved to take all three at the end of the day. But like I said after Bodo, even title challenging teams, elite teams over the years have had games like this where they're lucky to take away 3 points. That's why, if I really delve into the game, I'd probably moan a bit, but I don't want to moan. We're top of the league. And if you ask me at the start of the season if I'd be happy post Leeds to be top of the league, enjoying Liverpool, Manchester City for what it is, a big spectacle, whilst keeping a little eye on them, I would have taken it. I would have taken it with both hands. So as much as there's a lot to talk about in that game in terms of problems maybe, I feel like I'm going to look at it as a one-off and hope we move on to Southampton next week and put it behind us. Listen, it's a clean sheet away from home. I don't know how it was.
4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, and if that's not only wins, clean sheets. I don't know how we escaped with a clean sheet today. The refs are still a problem. Thank God we waited for VAR in the end, but at the same time, that penalty for Bamford, VAR missed that offside. So even them, there's still problems there. But like I said, we're going to have games like this. This is not the last game we'll have like this where we might look back and say, we're lucky to get away with that one. There might be games that come that we don't get away with it. At this moment in time, Arsenal, up until this stage, played good football. Others are taking notice. And this one, flash in the pan, we move.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, there were things in the first half that, to be fair, I thought it was a pretty even game. Yeah, they had their moments. I thought we had our moments. You think of the Jesus chance. I think we played good enough football to feel that we were in the game, if not maybe slightly edging it. That second half, though, was completely different. I know Bamford changed the game. Let's talk about the positives, though, because you're right. It's one bad performance and what's ultimately been a near perfect season, bar the situation at Old Trafford. 9 wins out of 10 in the league. I think the record for teams, I think only one ever has won that many. 9 of their first 10 have not gone on to win the league, but we know that we're up against a formidable force in Man City. Listen, we've got to be delighted with this start. Yeah,
100%. Like, I've seen people on Twitter posting that, everyone that started the season like this goes to win the league. Listen, I'm not looking at that. I'm still looking at January, coming out of January into February, being comfortably in top 4. We can't get ahead of ourselves here, because if you get ahead of yourselves and expect more, if you don't get more, you might look at it in a bad light, when in reality, making top 4 and getting Champions League football in the league is the main objective for me this season, and I think it's the same for them. Obviously, I'd like a trophy with that, a Europa League, an FA Cup, and even a League Cup, why not? But in all honesty, we move. I feel like we've started the season so well that these performances I'm just going to brush off my shoulder.
Sure.
And it's not just a performance I'm brushing off my shoulder. We've got the 3 points on top of that. In seasons gone past, we'd see this performance and maybe take a point out of it, probably take nothing. This time round, we managed 2 games back-to-back. We've been the poorer side. We've conceded a hell of a lot of chances to opposition, both Bodo and Leeds. But we've escaped with 1-0 wins, 1-0 to the Arsenal. And my early years, I grew up on that ideology. So, listen, I'm in a good place with Arsenal at the moment.
Well, I think 2 players that we need to talk about today, Aaron Ramsdale and Granit Xhaka. I felt one in terms of keeping the ball out the back of the net, but the other for how he dealt with those high pressurised moments, the work rate and everything. I just thought those 2, if anyone in an Arsenal shirt deserved the win. Listen, they all worked really hard. I will say that they all worked really hard. But for their performances, I thought those 2 were standout.
100%, and you've mentioned their performances already. I'm going to mention 2 moments on the pitch. There was a moment where Gabriel just gave the ball away needlessly. We got it back and Ramsdale looked straight back at Gabriel and said, "What was you doing there?" And then that moment with the red card, as soon as it was rescinded, Xhaka goes over to Gabriel and said, "Listen, get your head right." That's examples of leadership. And especially with Granit Xhaka, he's come on leaps and bounds at this club in the last 3 to 6 months, for sure. But today, Ramsdale's man of the match. Yeah. He's been questioned at times this season, and yes, he has been iffy at times, but we've got the clean sheet today because of him. We've got the 3 points today because of him. And I think, like you said, aside from Xhaka and Ramsdale, I can't pick out anyone else that walks away with this with any credit.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair play, Turkish.
Nice one.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.